And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Ringside Rhetoric, featuring your host, Vince McMahon. Well, hello, everybody. Vince McMahon with you here. It is time for some Ringside Rhetoric here on the Nation Network. Thank you guys for checking things out. We've been doing a lot of new things around here lately, have we not? So I just wanted to reach out and talk to you guys briefly about things going on with the channel, as well as things going on in the world, and why I'm changing things up a little bit on the channel the way I am. And I want to thank you guys who have taken time to do surveys that I've put out to help me, help direct me and where I want to take the channel next. I've had a lot of thoughts in my mind about different things I want to do, and I've heard what you guys have thrown at me as well. And some of that you're going to see incorporated very soon, maybe within hours. I'm just saying, could happen. So it's no secret that right now what everybody in the world is dealing with is something that is infesting our mindset to the point where you can't really watch the news anymore for a number of reasons. Number one, it's repetitive crap. And number two, it's very hard to believe because it seems like a lot of them have a pretty set agenda on... Look, we're not going to turn this into a political show, but the bottom line is no matter whether you like the guy or not, doesn't matter. It's our country that we have to defend and that we have to bring back up where it was. And when people are working against him, they're working against us. So that is what's happening across most news networks, unfortunately, which is why I've just kind of tuned all that out. That said, the normal distractions really aren't there. Watching wrestling today, I think everybody can admit, is not the same because without a live audience, it misses something. WrestleMania was a great example. That's as good as it can get. And some of those matches really were good. And I keep wanting to actually take some of the video from that. I just know it'll get struck down. I don't want to pull all the time into something that's not going to make it to air. But I was going to take some of the video of that and just pump in background track of an audience and, you know, bring it up in the cheer sections and all that, just to show what that could have felt like if there were an actual stadium around them or something to that effect. And I did it myself just on a small scale, just like with one maybe 3-minute segment of a match. And it's still, even when you couldn't see the crowd, I wish they would have piped in some music or some sound effects. I know that's kind of cheating, but think about it. The old sitcoms in the day, they always had laugh tracks and things like that, and it worked fine for them. So I think it's worth trying. AEW, I give them credit. They are right now the most watchable show out there because they're putting fans in the stands. Not many, and they're not really fans. There are other wrestlers who are not performing at the moment, but the echo effect and the fact that they're very vocal and they're working to help enhance the show is making a difference. It's definitely producing something that is more watchable to me than what else is out there. So, that in mind, the things we're missing, in my opinion, are professional sports in general, that if you need a deterrent or something to take your mind off of what's going on in the world, you know, there was a baseball game, there was a hockey game, the NBA playoffs, whatever, and that's all gone right now. So I wanted to bring some of that back and give us something, even if it is fictitious, to kind of hopefully rally around a little bit. So the first thing I did was some Fight Night Champions Boxing, which was a game I accidentally bought on the PS3. I thought it was for the PS4, wasn't paying attention, and thought I would just have some fun streaming it with you guys. And apparently you guys had a lot of fun with it too, because overwhelmingly, when I put out my poll recently as to what sports you guys would want me to cover, Fight Night just ran away with it. Although it got a little closer towards the end, overwhelmingly Fight Night is the hot ticket right now here on the Nation Network. And we will be seeing more Fight Night, I promise you that, because I love that game. I'm having fun with it. I will say my only drawback right now is getting the PS3 to communicate with OBS is a it's a sticky thing. I don't know why. It shouldn't be. It hooks in the same way through the same Elgato converter and all that, but I have to shut things down and start them back up several times to get it to work. So it can take me 10, 15, even 20 minutes just to get it to the point where I can stream. And that can kind of jam me up a little bit if I'm short for time. So otherwise, some other things that we're looking at doing, we might do a little something with an NBA game. I'm not sure. I was thinking about doing the playoffs based on where the teams finished off and just simulating the playoff run. Figured that would give us a little something to fall back into. And the NHL kind of came up towards the end there, and they made a little bit of a draw. That I don't know how much that would work with the audience I have here or not, but I might try a couple games out just to see what happens and how you guys like it. The other one that somebody in the last stream, hey, SLS, what's up, buddy? Morning. Somebody had mentioned in the last stream is the UFC. And yes, I was actually thinking about that after the success of boxing. Yeah, we're going to be doing some more boxing, no doubt about it. So here's what I'm going to plan for that. We're going to make a top 10 list in each weight category, top 10 contenders, based on their actual win-loss records. And then I'm going to start tracking their win-loss records moving forward. So they'll have the historic win-loss record, but then they're going to have our league win-loss record. I don't see any way of actually putting a belt of any kind on anyone, so it'll just have to be something that I impose on the screen kind of thing, like there's your heavyweight champion or whatever the case may be. Would have been nice if you could have put a title belt actually over the shoulder around the waist. Yeah, UFC, I've got a couple of them. I think I have up to UFC 3. I'm not even positive on that. I have to dust off a little bit and find out. I'll be honest with you, I don't enjoy playing them very much. There's just so much going into those controls for so many different things, and I absolutely abhor their submission system. I think it's atrocious because you get so locked in on the controller and the on-screen prompts that you're not watching the fight at all. And you're not seeing the facial expressions, you're not seeing the desperation, and you miss all that. I would much sooner just have them go statistically with somebody like Ronda Rousey. If she gets you in an armbar, that, a little bit of a button mashing thing, but the fact that if she puts you in an armbar, you're pretty much done. You hit X 3 times and all of a sudden the match is over, okay? Whereas somebody else that's not a submission specialist puts that same armbar on, and maybe you have to hit X 4 times and then jump to triangle and then jump to square, that kind of thing. But it's still less distracting, and you can still watch the fight better that way than the ones that they've come up with, which are just loathsome. So I would be simming the matches is the point I was going to make. Yeah, I'm loving the boxing, man. The friggin' story mode, didn't even know there was going to be one, so that's been pretty cool. 3 was the last one made. Then I probably have 2, because I don't think I got the last one. And yeah, there's no boxing on PS4, which is what I found out after the fact, and I was like, how is that possible? I mean, PS4 is 5 years old. You're going to tell me they didn't put out a boxing title with Legends in 5 years? So, yeah, now in doing my homework on that after the fact, I find out that there's a lot of whispering going on that they are doing one for the PS5, which I can only imagine how amazing that would look with the ramped up computer and the detail that they'll be able to put into it. Oh my God. I mean, just looking at how cool the PS3 is and how much better that would have been as a PS4. But jumping 2 consoles, a lot of potential there, and I would guarantee practically that you would have to end up having a title option there. So that's one of the things we're going to be doing around here. Like I said, we're going to have some boxing. I'm going to try out some UFC. I'm thinking probably going to do a little bit of NBA just to see, test the water, see if you guys are digging it or not. If you are, then we'll keep doing the playoffs, and if not, we'll probably bail out. I'm a hockey guy myself. I love the NHL, but I don't see that being a strong contender here. People have asked about Fire Pro Championship Wrestling. All I can tell you is I got to go by ratings, and the ratings are in the toilet. I did 2 Fire Pros, and people just don't seem to be digging it, which is okay. I'm not digging it that much this year either. I like the old one better. I don't know why. It's just not coming across the same to me. Thanks, Infrared. Yeah, I like the sim matches better, too, because I get to watch them with you. And I get to call some of the action a little bit. Although with that game, I really wouldn't want to call the action because that is the one fight game that really does it right. I mean, the boxing one's not too bad, and we know wrestling is absolutely horrible. But, man, I feel like I'm actually watching a UFC fight when I play that game. The sound, the graphics, everything is just so on point. Yeah, I mean, I was a fan of Fire Pro back on the PS, what was it, the 2? I think it was the PS2 last time. And it just seemed easier. The creations seemed to making the edits was a little bit easier and faster. Now it's just so much detail and complication and complexity, and then they really screwed the pooch by coming up with this after-the-fact DLC. Now, I bought the season pass, and I'm still screwed. Because now you have these 2 female packs. Well, I don't want those. What the hell am I going to use them for? I don't even know who these women are, for the most part. So I don't want that. And it's $20. But if you don't get that, and other people that are creating edits have it, they're using those pieces in their edits, and now you can't even use those created wrestlers when you download them. And there's not even a warning to tell you don't download this unless you have the DLC. So I've got like 9 or 12 different characters, and they're not even female characters. That's the whole thing. You can use these pieces, obviously, to create male parts if you want to. So that really just turned me off. That was kind of the last stream I did when I was trying to tweak things out a little bit. But, yeah, it became more of a pain in the ass. And it's unfortunate because the guys who put the creations out did great work with them. And I'm willing to bet that they did all the movesets nice and had all the logic down the way it needs to be. But I'm not spending another $25 on that game. I've spent enough. And it'll definitely make me think 3 times before buying the next one. All right, well, that said, let's talk about the world of real wrestling. All kinds of stuff being talked about. As you guys, I am sure, all know at this point, the Revival are free. They have escaped the WWE. Thank you, God. Where will they surface? Well, the obvious logical choice would be the AEW. I hope not. I would love to see them go to the NWA. I would like to see them go to ROH. And I would like to see them go to MLW. Any of those, I think, would be better for them. I think it would be better for them. Especially MLW is where I would love to see them the most. Or Ring of Honor. Either one of those, I think, would be a really solid fit for them. And they could have some amazing friggin' matches there. I just love the MLW vibe. How they are really fusing the world of MMA and pro wrestling and trying to make it a little bit more of a real sport feel to it. Yeah, Infrared, I got you, buddy. I got you, man. I was pissed, too. I ended up getting the additional content to create the entrances, and I did the video on that. That was the second to last one I think I did. And, yeah, it's kind of cool to be able to do that stuff, but at the same point in time, I feel if you bought the season pass, you really should have been able to take advantage of that without having to pay extra money. And that one was like $12 or $10, somewhere in that ballpark. But it adds up. I mean, granted, the base game when it first came out was not $60. I forget how much it was, but it was cheaper than your normal game. Might have been about $40 or somewhere in there. And now you can probably get it for $5. I don't know. I was talking to somebody about the original Destiny and how they kept on coming up with the next chapter and another dollar amount attached to that. And then when the last portion of the map came out, the third chapter, whatever it was like $80 to get that. However, if you were new to Destiny at that time, you could buy the entire package for just $100. which is like $20 additional to the $80 they were asking versus the people that already paid $60 who already paid maybe $20 or $30 and then now $80. So way to piss off your fan base, guys. I want Vince McMahon in ICW. Never say never. You know what I mean, man? Things happen. It could happen. You could see Vince McMahon in ICW. I'm just saying, things happen. Anyway, the Revival going somewhere. What are you guys thinking? Where would you like to see them go? We know where they're going to probably go and where they'll likely show up. But in your world, if you were their agent, if you were booking them, and you had the ability to control their contracts moving forward, and you were going to tell them, no, this is where you want to be, where would you want them to go? My first choice would be MLW. It really would, because I could see them having some good stuff with the Von Erichs. And whether they go babyface or heel, you've got options on both sides that are really good. Injustice would be fun. I think they could have some really good matches with those guys. They're all in the right weight class where you can throw each other around pretty well. With Ring of Honor, you've always just got a bunch of different names that can put on a good match. So I think they could have a really good run there. And you look at the tag team history of Ring of Honor and how many really talented duos made a major name for themselves, big part of their careers in Ring of Honor. And there you go. Doug coming up with NWA, and I got to tell you, man, I think that would be such an awesome opportunity for them. If you've been watching my variation of the NWA program, which we'll have some more of that coming up in the very near future, I brought Kevin Kiley back recently. Big surprise for the current reigning champion. And Kevin Kiley is ready to make a return to the ring. You know, some interviews I've seen him do. And he even hinted that he thinks NWA would be a great fit. Sean Nova going with MLW or NWA. And I'm right there with you, buddy. I wouldn't be disappointed with either of those. I would actually be real happy with those. And I wouldn't be against Ring of Honor. I think that would be a win-win because Ring of Honor could use that level of talent to help bring them back up because they've slumped a little. I mean, let's be honest, they're not the Ring of Honor that they were with Gabe. All right, now, Doug, I'm not even sure if I can believe you right there. Do you really love AEW or is that sarcasm? I can't tell if he's joking, guys. I really can't. Hey, look, to each his own. There's something for everyone. I love it when, I think Jim Cornette sums it up best when he calls it all petite wrestling. There are just too many people wrestling for AEW that have no business in a ring. Not at that level, anyway. I mean, you know, local shows, indie shows, yeah, fine, whatever. But a flagship program on a national stage, I don't know. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's kind of the reason why I like them for NWA as well, because indeed they do have that old school feel to them. MLW. By the way, sporting my hat right here. Got that last week along with a pretty cool Fusion t-shirt. SJW Wrestling. Yeah, you almost could, couldn't you? But let's talk, you know what? I'll say this again. They are the most watchable program on TV for wrestling right now, hands down. Some of the other ones are smartening up now and just doing some best ofs. And I saw ROH this week had the best matches of Black Machismo there. What's his name? You know who it is. I'm just drawing a blank. Jay Lethal, thank you. And he sits down in a studio somewhere and talks about his favorite memories and favorite matches. Then they show their match. That's about the best way to go forward at this point in time and still keep an audience. And at least you'll know you have good matches that are going to be out there. So if you get some new person joining in and watching for the first time, they're going to see your product at its best. And hopefully you'll get them to come back for more. But so far as the live shows with the dead arenas, then AEW takes the cake because they have found the answer, and they're the only ones doing it, which I am shocked that WWE, as much as they're willing to bend and break the rules, haven't done it yet. Which, by the way, they have their first corona case in the company, but it was kind of a cameraman, I believe, that had limited to no actual interaction with the wrestlers themselves, performers, or anybody else. And last I heard, that was the only case in the WWE, which, you know, all things considered, that's not bad. Orange Cassidy, I have no use for. I have no understanding why he's at all over with anyone. It's stupid. It is so stupid. And it's embarrassing, and I feel like if I'm on that roster and I'm backstage, I'm embarrassed to be a part of that in any way, shape, or form, because here's the sad thing. The guy can wrestle, but then he doesn't. It's like, I don't know. There's not much about AEW that I get. But again, there's different styles for a reason. There are fans that love that show. And obviously there are more fans loving that show than there are loving NXT right now, based on the ratings. I think NXT kicks the shit out of them so far as the performances in ring go. And I think if NXT was playing to a larger house other than the Full Sail University that can house about, 1,000 people maybe on a good day, then I think if they were playing even not necessarily arena crowds, but even if they were just going someplace like a convention center with 5,000, it would change the landscape completely. Marco Stunt, man, I don't have a clue. I mean, look, the underdog and all that stuff has always been there. Rey Mysterio, when he first started out, was a dwarf. And he didn't end up a giant at any point in time, but at least he filled out a little bit towards the middle and end part of his career. But you look at him back in the early days in ECW and WCW, he was bigger than Marco Stunt, which is sad. That's what, like, that should have been the cutoff point. You know, Rey Mysterio in his first 7 years, that is as small as you can be and not be a midget wrestler. And I'm not even sure Marco deserves to be in the midget wrestler category, but hey, he's got a fan base somehow. And while I don't get it, I guess I don't have to. He'd be selling programs from the top rope. He could hold all the programs, and then any other wrestler would just pick them up overhead and throw them out to the fans. But I do like their product right now because they do have fans, if you want to call it that, around the ring, making some noise, reacting to what's happening in the ring, and it just makes a world of difference. It makes it tolerable. It keeps it entertaining in a different kind of way than we're used to because they're not real fans. And they're in character, and they're doing different things that way. So I'd be curious. See, I don't see the WWE doing that so much because they're so protective of the character. I mean, you're not going to see a Bray Wyatt at ringside. You're not going to. Well, I guess you could if he was going to use it for something. But I just don't see them ever getting to that point where they're going to do that. Let me see something here. Wonder why the chat's not coming up on screen. I can see it, but it should be on the screen as well. Let me try something here real quick, because ever since I had to redo my OBS again, every time there's an update, it screws me over. Let me log in here and see if that pops it up. All right. Did that do anything? I might have to mess around with that some more and figure it out. Oh my God, up until 2021? Oh. I really hope that's not true. Jelly Janela. I gotta admit, I have not seen a lot of Janela's matches, so. Man, I'll tell you, MLW, if they don't do anything until 2021, that's going to be sucking. They were really, really at a good spot right now with the teams they have, the factions they had. And that's part of the reason why I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing now and trying to keep as much of it as I can. Problem is when I add a promotion or something like that, that puts a strain on the roster. But when you look at things like the NWA and ROH, or if you look at MLW and AAA wrestling, with the cross promotions, you can kind of add another promotion and then use the talent from each other the way they're doing it in real life. So I've been kind of doing that a little bit. I will tell you this. Again, I've been listening to your comments and your feedback on the polls that I've been putting out lately, and you guys have done a great job of helping me with that. So I can tell you right now that later today there will be a launch of a brand new program right here on the Nation Network. It will be wrestling. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's a surprise. But I think you guys are going to like it. I hope you do. And like always, I'm going to put my own twist on it. So you'll see. I don't want to give anything else away. But I am majorly bummed about the MLW thing. I hope to God they can find a way to get back up and running before that. Because I was really enjoying their program a lot. Enough to buy the hat, man. All right, well, the WWE looks like they're going to be cutting a lot of names loose real soon, and I guess the dominoes have already begun to fall. But again, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing in the sense that normally a team like the Revival gets cut loose, they can go and do some indie shows. Or they can go work for AEW, but not be on TV. And earn some money. Whereas right now, they're not even getting any money. And there's no place for them to go get some money in the near future. So they're going to have to wait that part out. That said, when they do come back, I think it's safe to say if that's accurate that MLW won't be doing anything until 2021, then they will not end up there. I would still love to see them in NWA. I think that is the best fit for their style. I just don't know that that's going to happen. I don't think the money will be the same. The Super Series is the last set of tapings. Now, were those the ones that took place at the ECW Arena, or was there something after that? Seems like the last few shows I saw was all coming from the old House of Hardcore there. And what is the latest on the WWE roster? Have they booted anybody else recently? Let me do a quick check here. All right, the news. Vince McMahon axes WWE co-president. Stock falls by over 20% in major corporate shakeup. WWE has announced the departure of longtime executives George Barrios and Michelle Wilson. Both this is kind of old news. Both of whom have spent over a decade with the company. The shocking move comes exactly 1 week before the WWE is set to report its fourth quarter 19 and full year earnings in what is becoming a developing trend for the wrestling giants. Let's see if they have anything else about roster. Now, I also heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, might have just been one of them rumbling rumors, that the XFL is done. Updated releases. Let's see. So here are the predictions on who could be released from the WWE. The Big Show will officially retire from wrestling, which that makes sense. May remain backstage role with the company. Kane will officially retire to focus on his political career. Good idea. The Clones will ask for their releases and go to Puerto Rico. Not a bad move for them either. They're not getting any traction. Rumored expired contracts for them would be in October. Then the Singh brothers will get released. I'm sorry, were they still on the roster? The WWE will likely also be cutting several developmental wrestlers from the Performance Center. That goes without saying. Still not quite the list of information I was trying to get here, though. Everything's pretty much focused on the year of 19. Let's change it up a little bit. All right, EC3, underused and underappreciated. Could be getting released. I'm sure he is. He wants out. Matt Hardy, of course, already is. Apollo Crews, another one who's on the block, but they did recently make him look decent. Rusev, I never understood how he got over to begin with. When I say I didn't like him, I don't mean I didn't like him because he was a heel. I didn't like him because I just didn't think he was exciting at all. But I do think the EC3 is an accurate prediction, that you could easily see that happen. And my computer screen has frozen. So I guess the Revival right now are the big names that have gone. Of course, Matt Hardy left. We know that. The Woken One. Refresh this and see what's going on. Theo's in the house. Oh my goodness, how you doing, my man? It's been a minute. The PS4 servers are down. Thanks for the heads up, man. I was going to do me some Rocket League. I guess not. MLW did some Mexico tapings. I don't think I've seen anything from that yet. So I might have some more programming to look forward to then. But they'll go and do some of their best of. And that's one of the good things that's come from this bad situation, is that like Ring of Honor is showing one of their pay-per-view main events when they show, what's his name there? Jay Lethal going up against one half of the, well, he was the defending ROH World Champion at the time. I always forget their names, though. The two brothers that normally tag up that have been in Ring of Honor forever and ever and ever. Whose name I can't think of at the moment. Yeah, Theo, you bring up a good point. WWE doesn't have a talent problem. They have a too many talents problem. But they also have a bigger problem in that they don't recognize when they have talent. And they don't utilize the talent they have well. Yeah, the Big Show sitcom on Netflix. Is it already visible? Like, can you watch it now, or is it coming out real soon? Because I am very much looking forward to seeing that. He's got the right persona for that. It's going to be good. I guarantee it's going to be funny. I've seen some trailers for it. It does look like it's going to be pretty damn good. The music too loud? I got it down for you there. The problem with giving Apollo Crews the push at this point in time is you've buried him for the last 3 years. But then again, you know, what's his name was the world champion, Davari or Singh or whichever, I don't even. Jinder Mahal. Yeah, Jinder. They made him world champion. Now, granted, that was a huge mistake. But they did it. That's right, the Briscoes. Thank you for that. And I have to tell you, that was the first time that I had seen a match with a Briscoe in it where I was impressed. I thought Jay Briscoe put on a good match, and he's also put on some size since the last time I saw him, which was years ago. I always thought they were way too small, like, for the character that they were portraying. They were just too thin and underdeveloped. Whereas now they got, at least Jay does, he's got some beef on him. I don't even know. I didn't see. It was Jay and Mark, right? I presume both of them are still active in the ring, not just one. Oh, good. Hopefully it's not the PS4 and it is just maybe the 2K games. That happens all the time, man. Big Show is up on Netflix. I might be doing some of that. I got 2 more days off here. I might just go and check that out. I sat through Star Wars Rise of Skywalker again, and I just have a hard time sitting through it. I don't know what to tell you. I realize as I'm watching it, I don't remember seeing this in the theater. I know I did, but it's like all of it had left my memory because it was that uneventful. A couple of the key points were, you know, that stuck out still, and who Ray really was. I remember that, even though I tried to forget. But watching it on DVD, I was even like kind of like drifting off and found myself like clearing pictures out of my iPhone to free up memory space. And it just did not hold my attention, so I'll have to try it again some point in time. Yeah, Theo, it does look like it's going to be a fun show. And, you know, what we know of him, why wouldn't it be? I'm definitely going to have to figure out what's going on, why my chat is not appearing on screen as well. Wonder if I can edit this. Let me try that. Bear with me a moment while I try and improve upon what we are doing here. Alert boxes. Nation subscriber, member. We don't want alert boxes. We want commands, primary quotes. Streamlabs has changed so much as well. Donations, accounts, donation. What the heck? Chat box. Okay. Still nothing. Oh my God, the Tiger King. I am the only person left on the face of the earth that has not watched it. I feel like I owe it to society not to watch it. Why is this not working? Let me think this through. Command, shatters, custom, enable custom HTML. We're not going to do that. Man, this is baffling me. Actually, hold on. Maybe the problem is more obvious than I was looking at. And maybe it's not. Well, I'm at a loss. I'll have to really do some work on that and figure out why all of a sudden the chat doesn't appear anymore. All right, guys. What do we got going on here? Willie Thompson, how you doing, my friend? The main event. The main event. I feel like I should know what that's about. What happens in the main event? There we go. 2 stars out of 5. After discovering a magical mask, an 11-year-old... Oh, I do recall seeing something about that. Aspiring wrestler enters a competition to become the next WWE superstar. I would check that out for sure. I don't know how it helps the industry any to have a 11-year-old kid go in there and all of a sudden be credible. But then again, you know, you got that little dwarf there in AEW. So if Marco can do it. Hey, wait, do I see words on the screen? Shut up. Okay, finally it is working. How'd that happen? Well, I don't know what I did to fix it, but I fixed it. Good, that saves me time and trouble later that I don't have to go back and redo. Much better. Well, I appreciate y'all bailing with me there because without the text going back and forth, I wouldn't be able to test it out. Hopefully that will just be a permanent fix now and I won't have to go back and do it again. How many episodes on that season did they run? Is it going to be like 8-episode run? Or I can't imagine they've done more than 8. Especially on a first season. If they give Marco the TNT belt, then I don't even know. I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight when it comes to the AEW because I gave up on them after week 2. I could see the direction they were heading in was not a direction that I could get behind, and I just knew that I was done at that point. I also thought that putting the belt on Jericho was the absolute worst move they could have made. Is he a known name? Yes. He's 50 years old, though. That you don't want your first champion to be a senior citizen. Man, you got to have somebody in there like an Eli Drake that still has years left in the tank, that's still able to talk people into wanting to watch him. I hadn't heard a rumor about 2K21 being canceled, but now with the virus, of course, nobody's able to go to work and do anything anyway. So with their track record of putting out a really horrible product, imagine if they had to rush it because they weren't able to do the work on it that they're supposed to be doing. So, and they don't necessarily have to cancel it, even though that probably isn't everyone's best interest. They could just postpone it by 2 or 3 months because look what Naughty Dog, if you follow that, Naughty Dog with The Last of Us 2 is now indefinitely derailed, is the way I like to phrase it. They're getting a lot of bad press right now, which is saddening to me because I always really believed in their studio a lot. And here that 70% of their top creators left after Uncharted 4 because of the work conditions. It does. It makes me sad. I just really thought the world of Naughty Dog and how they were able to achieve such great product. And I think Horizon Zero Dawn really messed with Neil Druckmann's head a little bit because it was so phenomenal from its look to its gameplay, characters, all that. And he actually did an interview with the creator of Horizon Zero Dawn and said, hey, you just up the ante from my studio as well, which is what you want. You want competition. That's what makes the products better. That's the same thing with wrestling. But, yeah, I just think that it probably got under him too much that Horizon was so meticulous and visually unbelievable. And he probably leaned really hard on his team. And I thought Uncharted 4 was pretty solid. I thought they did a great job with the effects there, the looks there. But, yeah, I think he might have just leaned on people too heavy, and they said, screw you, I'm out. Yeah, but Nova, I don't think it doesn't make it legit. A 50-year-old man does not make you, if anything, it hurts. That's the best talent you had, was a guy who's clearly in the twilight of his career. That is your best option? No, you should have put him in the finals. He should have made the finals, and then he should have lost to the guy you're putting over who has another 15 years left in the tank. Now, if you don't have another guy that can fit that bill, that's why your promotion gets off to a really poor start, in my opinion. And I keep coming back to the same point. It's different strokes for different folks. There are some people that love AEW, clearly. They have an audience. I don't know how long they can maintain that audience with the product they're putting out. But for right now, it's there. And they've got it. Well, Infrared, the other reason I don't think they'll cancel it is look at WrestleMania. Vince does not cancel. I do hope they delay it and don't bring it out in October like usual, because there's no way it'll be ready. I mean, it wouldn't be ready even if there was no virus. And I'm not even saying that Hangman Adam Pearce was the right guy to give the belt to initially. They pushed him pretty hard in the beginning, but he didn't get over well. Still hasn't really gotten over, and I tried to get behind him myself, and I was like, sure, he's a great guy. I just, nothing about him that got my attention in any way, shape, or form. And I think they completely underestimated and underused MJF. That should have been their first champion right there. MJF and a small posse, because that guy reeks of Roddy Piper. And the fact that he's staying in character all the time, getting in trouble for it in certain circles. Yeah, I just think that... I think they missed a big opportunity. Not that they can't still put the belt on him. I just think they should have done that from the get-go. All right, boys and girls, I am going to wrap this thing down here because I've got some stuff. MJF champ, no? Yes, yes, yes. And Infrared, to answer your question, I don't see anyone being built. See, this is what I've been saying about AEW. To me, is nothing different than Dixie Carter Wrestling. They're just going to keep on taking other people's creations, other people's work, other people's talent, and then they'll fall on that until it doesn't work for them anymore. And then what? No, you're right. He doesn't need a belt at all. He does not need a belt. All the more reason to put it on him. Piper didn't need a belt either, but damn it, he should have been the world champion for a while. Because he can. Because he is that obnoxious. Because he will make you want to see the match. Now, you'll still want to see the match without the belt, but how much better is it with it? At least that's my opinion. Last I heard, they didn't ask for it, so I'm giving it free of charge this time around. All right, guys. Well, I remind everyone, if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It helps us get out there, and we're definitely getting more visibility lately with some of these little twists and turns that I've been adding to the channel. One of the most productive months in a long time for getting additional viewer content, and I know part of that, sadly, is because of the virus. People are stuck in their house. They're watching more YouTube, if that's possible. And stumbling across the content we're doing here, and I'm happy to have some new people on board. I appreciate you all, and hopefully we will all get together here real soon and do this again. Later today, there will be a brand new up-and-coming program that, well, all I'm saying is we're going to be launching something big. I think you guys are going to like it. It's definitely been something people have floated past me on more than one occasion. So, as far as that goes, you'll see it probably within the next... What time are we at now? Wrong one. Might be within the hour. Might be very soon. And look forward to getting y'all's feedback on that as well. Late tonight, early tomorrow morning, we will be back in the ring with the boxing. And going to continue the story campaign a little bit. And then we're also going to do maybe a mini card as I start to put all these guys' names into a spreadsheet so that we can track their win-loss record above and beyond what their professional careers were. And crown our own champions as we go. So it's going to be fun here on the Nation Network. Join us, won't you? Make sure you take time to subscribe. Get that notification bell so you can join me live when we go, which is all hours of the day. Different times, different days. And I'm going to be having, after this week, we're on furlough at the Walt Disney World Company, which means I'm going to have a lot of free time to do nothing. Yep, Sean, I'm right there with you, man. Going to be losing money. But hopefully not for a long period of time. And I look at it this way. If I really do kind of hang out at the house, there's nothing to do really outside. Everything is pretty much closed. All the businesses are closed. So aside from, riding a bike or something, which in the state of Florida right now, 95 degrees today, I don't think so. So if I'm not driving the car anywhere and I'm not paying tolls, not going to restaurants and movies and things like that, I'm saving all that money. I'm hoping it'll kind of balance out in the end. We will get through this together. So again, going to wrap just saying that some of the new content is designed to get our minds off of the crap that's going on and to give us back a semblance of what we would have been able to watch if not for the situation being what it is. And look for some NBA, look for some UFC, but definitely more in the ring with professional boxing coming your way sooner rather than later. And also a brand new wrestling program coming your way, and that will happen later this morning. All right, everybody, you have a great rest of your day. Vince McSham saying I'll see y'all real soon from ringside. Take care.